is the Tata Altroz Facelift, and they have literally lifted the face of this car. This car's price range starts at rupees 8.13 lakhs and goes all the way to rupees 13.68 lakhs for the top end variant. This is not the top end because this is one variant lower than that, priced at rupees 13.67 lakhs. The key is quite premium for such a car. You get the Tata logo here. Unlock the car, lock the car, turn on the light, and to open the boot of the vehicle. I like the key. Actually, for this segment, this is actually a very nice key. Straight away, let's open the engine bay because, like I've said it a million times, a diesel is a diesel, is a freaking diesel. Tata Motors continues to offer us a diesel engine in this segment, so kudos to them. There's insulation there, and bang, closes the hood because 5-star safety rating is expected from this car because this was the first hatchback to actually get 5 stars, which is quite amazing. Now, since I was telling you they have lifted the face, what they have done is given it a new bumper. There's a front parking camera. That is the Tata logo, a 3D grille, and the bumper is new, so it actually has active air curtains, which are very much functional. So Faisal Khan's fingers of truth, very happy with that. New fog lamps, LED ones, LED headlights. This is actually the DRL, which converts into the indicator. So when you turn on the indicator, the DRL shuts right there. It's available in 5 colors, 4 variants, so 4 trims. And you get the peacock here, which is the Easter egg, because Tata Motors believes that this car is as beautiful as a peacock. Now, obviously, my opinion differs from that. Meanwhile, the dimensions of the car remain more or less the same as before, actually identical. The length is almost 4 meters. The wheelbase is slightly more than 2.5 meters, and it is actually a good looking car. Alloy wheels are also new here. Tata Motors' design for the alloy wheels is such that alloy wheels look like wheel caps. Meanwhile, other brands who have wheel caps, they actually look like alloy wheels. 185, 60, 16 is the size of the tires. There's a camera here, black finish on the mirror, black finish on the roof, so dual tone treatment. And this is a new door handle here, which by the way does not have a request sensor on the left side, but it has illumination, so you know exactly where to open the door. If you want to turn off the passenger airbag, just need to put a key and flip that right there. The glove box is actually decent size. It has a tray on the top, which is cool. It has the peacock there, so yes, Easter egg, which is kind of nice. There's a light placement here, and does it have the cooling function? I don't know. There's a hole here. Probably it should be having lot of space. Yeah, practical 2 cup holders. Who opens this to actually use it as a cup holder? I have no idea. There's a hook which can take 2 kgs of weight, which is kind of nice. And take that, every other car, 90-degree freaking opening doors. They open like really very wide. That's insane. And it tells you some information about the vehicle, like what's the chassis number. Let's shut this. Shuts with a proper bang because obviously it is rugged in terms of the build quality. Door handles at the rear are hidden to give it a 2-door treatment. Again, 90-degree opening door. Big door pockets here, and I like the overall treatment of the cabin because it gets this beige treatment. I can just put this seat down like this to increase the boot carrying capacity as well if I want a bigger boot. That's also very much possible. It's getting very windy, I don't know why. Anyways, obviously it will get windy if wind is blowing. And space at the rear is not the best. Yeah, it's not the best when compared to say a Baleno, but it's decent because there's decent under tire support. Knee room, leg room and foot room is also good enough. This is scooped out, which really helps. You get a magazine holder here, and you get rear AC vents with a 65-watt USB-C charger, which is amazing. And you get ISOFIX child seat mounts. Center passenger does not get a head. You get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. You get a hook. You get a handle. It says airbag because all the variants, they get 6 airbags. The dashboard has been revised. A lot of changes to the dashboard to make it better and modern, but some touch sensitive things, which is not the best. The doors open so wide, sometimes it's a little difficult to actually reach for them because, you know what, I can push the door open from here and it opens completely. But then to pull it back, it definitely takes in some effort. Height adjustable seat belts, so you can move them up and down. The fabric and all will definitely get dirty because this color is not suited to our climate. I mean, it looks really good aesthetically because it gives the airy feeling inside the cabin, but it gets dirty, which is a fact. Okay, you get a hook handle and all that. Let's step outside and let me shut the door. There, shuts the door. Now, a lot of revisions have happened at the rear as well with this connected light. So it has this T-shaped light for the brake light. This is the indicator, small actually. And then this connected light bar, which has become a trend in these days for automobile designers. You get a rear wiper washer, vocal for local, shark fin antenna, high mounted stop lamp. Doesn't really get a rear spoiler as such. The Tata logo has a camera right below, and if you press this button inside, there opens the boot, but the loading lip is actually very high here. It has these hooks for putting luggage up to 3 kgs. Boot is 345 liters. If you opt for the CNG, boot reduces to 210 liters, which is still quite good because the CNG tanks are placed right below. Spare wheel is not an alloy. This is actually the toolkit. Spare wheel is 165/80/14, so smaller size tire right there. and you obviously get a parcel shelf. Some cars don't offer a parcel shelf as standard. Can you name which car I'm talking about? In the comment section below. Now they have used black element on the bumper to reduce the visual bulk. You have two parking sensors at the rear. Yeah, cost cutting has been done, and this happens to be for the reverse light, which seems halogen, rest seems LED. Obviously that is the exhaust of the vehicle hidden, and you can see the underbody of this car. Now obviously, since they have loaded this car with a lot of features, let's straight away get inside. The request sensor has been placed here. By the way, it gets a rain sensor right there. So rain sensing wipers, automatic headlights, has got all those features. Door pockets are big enough at the front, where you also get an umbrella holder, which is a nice feature to have. Only the driver's side is one touch. Yeah. No, it's not one touch. What? Yeah, it is one touch. You have to keep it pressed, and it's illuminated. Rest is not illuminated. And this is obviously the adjustment of the outside rear view mirrors, which is placed in the right place. Otherwise, it's placed here in the next one, which is not the best in terms of ergonomics. They've extended the seat squab to improve the underside support, which is a good thing. And it says airbag here. This is the engine start button. What is this dummy? So they keep moving buttons all through the cabin. Sometimes the button were here and then they came here. And yeah, this always keeps happening in Tata cars. Anyways, the steering gets this illumination for the Tata logo. Now they have tightened this so that accidental presses do not happen. For the horn, let me turn off the light so that you can see all this. No auto dimming mirror. We live in a generation where we get a sunroof but no auto dimming mirror. And this sunroof is actually small, but it's available from lower trims, from the second trim as well, which is kind of nice. Here you get a mirror. Here you don't get a mirror. You just get this strap. And there is some storage here, twin cup holders. The drive mode selector has been moved from here to there. So I was telling you now, they keep moving stuff. This slides ahead and behind. Magnet here, some storage space here as well. Handbrake, and you get a wireless charging pad. You get a 65-watt USB-C charging outlet along with a USB-A and a 12-volt as well. Now let's come to this panel. Now this is a touch sensitive panel, which is not the best. Firstly, it's so reflective. It obviously gets scratched easily, and it's a fingerprint magnet, just like this thing. And the steering wheel is actually not on the topmost position. I always put on the topmost position for myself, but here now you can't see part of the instrument cluster. So yeah, this is a bit weird. Yeah, ergonomics are not the best in Tata cars. Meanwhile, that is actually a 7-inch screen. Yeah, they've given this a 7-inch screen, unlike the top variant, which actually gets a 10.25-inch screen. You get a tachometer here, fuel and temperature meters. And inside you have a screen wherein you can browse through a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to come out of this. There's a digital view which kind of looks nice. So I'm just going to come into the trip info and show you the digital view. Look at this. There is so much information. Yeah, this is a loaded console. Has navigation, which only is showing me the compass, because the high variant will obviously replicate your navigation from your phone, which is not available in this particular car. So a lot of stuff to browse through. Tire pressure monitor, power and torque meters, tells you the date and stuff. In fact, when you turn on and off the car, it actually says Tata Motors connecting aspiration. No, it says ERA, the connected car bit, which is not available in this variant because the bigger instrument cluster with the 10.25-inch screen and the connected car bit is available in the higher variant, which is only available with, you named it right, with a DCA, which people will not buy because it feels like an AMT. Anyways, automatic headlights, automatic wipers, and steering has buttons, which are physical buttons. So this one is obviously for the audio system. This is for phone call. This is to reject a phone call. Voice commands. Yeah, voice commands actually work really nice. Open sunroof.
Sure. Opening sunroof. Say a command.
Baleno.
Sorry, I'm unable to process your command.
I-20.
Cancelled.
How can you cancel I-20, huh? Meanwhile, here, this is for the cruise control, and this is to browse through that screen. Coming to this particular panel, yeah, it has got something known as express cooling. I press this button.
Express cooling turned on. Windows may roll down.
That is impressive, and I will turn off express cooling. So a very unique feature in this car is the express cooling, which obviously works really well. Air conditioning is a chiller, physical buttons thankfully for the temperature as well as the fan control. Otherwise all of these are touch sensitive buttons. So you can lock the car from here, you can come into the 360-degree camera from here, and this 360-degree camera is actually having a decent quality. The side cameras are not the best. It keeps spinning every time I turn on the camera, which is kind of weird, and then I can obviously move it around. Then I can come to the 2D camera, I can go full screen, I can go to the side cameras, front side, rear side. So there's a lot of stuff you can actually go through here. So that's kind of nice. Meanwhile, I think we are against the sun, so I'm just going to put the handbrake down. We're going to turn the car and maybe position it in a way wherein there's less reflection. I think this should do better. And straight away we come to this particular screen, which is not the slickest to operate. It has something known as mood light. Funnily though, it has got red and purple colors only, but when I change the drive mode here, okay,
Economy drive mode activated.
notice this green light right there, and I'm going to press it again. Now,
City drive mode activated.
then it gets this blue ambient light. So there's this humanity line wherein you obviously get the ambient lighting. Otherwise you can change the color from here and sync it to the drive mode if you want. The funny part is, if you notice one thing, the fog lamp, when it's on,
Economy drive mode
you can't see
activated.
it. You can't see the fog lamp only. No,
City
you can't see
drive
it unless and
mode
until you turn on the
activated.
light. And when you do that, then only when you press a button, then only you can see it. Can you see it or not? Okay, now check this out. See? So that's a bit of a gap there in terms of understanding why they do not make this panel better. Yeah, it's a fingerprint magnet, and I don't know why they're going touch for everything. It's not the most intuitive to use. However, this screen has decent amount of information. Firstly, it has got an 8-speaker Harman audio system, which has good audio quality. Here you get all the widgets here, and you can get into settings very easily. It has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, both of which actually work wirelessly. And this is for the AC menu, wherein you can operate the AC from here as well. Yeah, you can change the temperature, fan speeds from here, which is kind of nice. I like the AC quality. It is a chiller for sure. So this screen could be slicker, 10.25 inch screen right here. The dashboard design is new. It looks quite nice, aesthetically pleasing. Overall quality is also good enough by segment standards. And it's a practical car with decent amount of storage space. Lot of revisions have happened to the interior, which is a good thing, because now the interior definitely feels nice with this new steering wheel, which gets this flat bottom treatment as well. The horn is okay. It's not great, but it's all about how does this car drive, because nothing has changed there also. Let's go. Okay, it's the time to start driving. Let's turn on the vehicle after the clutch lock, and there the screen has this effect and everything. Turn off the air conditioning. We come into the performance mode, which is actually the kar le behen, ready ho ja.
City drive mode activated.
City is the sport mode here. And straight away into first gear, handbrake down. We put the power and torque meters, revving the motor, revs till OMG 5000 RPM in neutral itself, into first gear, and off we go.
Please fasten passenger seat belt.
Oh no, there is no one sitting at the rear. Why are you asking me to fasten the rear seat belts? So that's the weird bit here. Engine has quite a lot of punch, which comes in immediately. Out of the way that punch comes in, and that punch comes in around 1800-1900 RPM, giving the car a lot of grunt and a lot of push all of a sudden. So there's this kickback as well, which is kind of nice. And come on, pick up in second gear. Are you going to ring? Yes, it's going to ring. So I'm just going to stop here and wait for this ringing to stop. This seatbelt ringing. I stopped. Okay, into first gear. Revving the motor, and off we go. Wheel spin, then it bogs down. ESP kicks in, which obviously ruins the acceleration because it's too laggy. It's there for a long time, this intervening to prevent the car pushing ahead. So it interrupts the power flow for quite a lot of time. Now this is a 1.5 liter diesel engine which produces 90 horsepower and 200 Newton meters of torque. Essentially it's the same engine as the Nexon, but in a lower state of tune, because they have given it a 5-speed gearbox, and this 5-speed gearbox torque rating is such that it cannot handle the amount of grunt offered by the Nexon's engine. So 5-speed gearbox is something they should get rid of. We don't need a sunroof, we need a 6-speed gearbox. Plus, to cut costs, they have not even marked the gears in silver or something of that sort. Anyways, off we go. Come on. Performance is good, yeah. Once you get past the lag now, the mid-range is really nice, but in the top end, it just kind of struggles and becomes very vocal as well. Yeah, vocal for engine. There. Red lines at around 4,500 RPM. I don't like the way the tachometer has been done. I can't clearly see what it's trying to tell me. and that's a bit of a problem. But the diesel is the way to go. This diesel engine is absolutely fantastic because this is the only car in the segment to get a diesel engine, and thus performance is the best from the diesel engine when compared to other engine options from Tata Motors. The turbo is not there only, which is very funny. They're just offering the petrol with either petrol only or CNG as well, and that has 3 gearbox options. So the petrol has a 5-speed manual, a 5-speed AMT, which is new, and a 6-speed DCA, which by the way happens to be the top variant, which comes in the top variant actually. So it obviously gets a lot more features, like 2 features to be precise. One is the connected car bit and the 10.25-inch instrument cluster. They're trying the level best to try and recover the R&D cost spent on the DCA, because that DCA actually behaves like an AMT, and that's one of the major reasons why people are not ending up buying it. But then you should shift your own gears, then only you're going to really enjoy this car. And thankfully the diesel is really nice. It's the manual, it deserves an automatic as well, because that would be amazing. But we'll talk a bit about the petrol later. Wheel spin on upshift, that's interesting. So let me turn on the camera here, the driver rear view monitor. Good bit about this car is that because it's based on the Alpha Arc, which is agile, lightweight, flexible and advanced, it feels really nice because the center of gravity is low, handling is good, body roll is well contained, and the steering is actually very nice here. So yeah, it is offering good amount of weight. Feel and feedback is also good from the steering wheel, and that's something which makes it a joy to use. Even on bad bumps like this, it goes beautifully well. The ride is very impressive here. Good ride, good handling, good steering wheel. Pinch me, because in this segment getting all this is something not really expected, but you get it, which is amazing. I don't know why this camera turned off, but it should continue to turn on. I think once we hit 120 kilometers per hour, then because of some speed alarm or something of that sort, it possibly turns off speed, overspeeding, whatever it says. Anyways, I like the diesel engine. It's fantastic. Performance is actually very impressive here, and overall NVH is also decent as long as you don't push this into the higher end of the rev range. The gearbox is slick shifting. The clutch is also on the lighter side. It's a very nice powertrain, and because it's a diesel, it's going to be very efficient. This should return easily more than 15 kilometers per liter, stretching to almost 20 kilometers per liter out on the highway, making it absolutely fantastic an engine. More so because the petrol engines are a bit lackluster. So 4-cylinder diesel, absolutely awesome performance because of the kind of torque it makes. 200 Newton meters is quite a lot less when compared to 260 Newton meters in the Nexon, the diesel Nexon, which produces 120 horsepower. So 30 horsepower less and 60 Newton meters less here, just because they could not, or they did not want to give us a slightly more expensive 6-speed gearbox. But here's a piece of advice for Tata Motors. Take that Nexon's diesel engine with a 6-speed gearbox with 120 horsepower and 260 Newton meters of torque and plonk it in the Altroz and call it the Altroz Racer. Now see, that's my idea. I'm going to copyright it. I hope they do it, because that would be amazing. A diesel hot hatch. What else do you want? Now Tata claims this car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 12.8 seconds, which is decently quick. We have a specialist timing gear. We should definitely test the acceleration of this car. Oh, this camera is so nice. The quality is not the best, but that blind view monitor is amazing. In the highest variant, which also has this 10.25-inch screen, you actually get it here, the display, which is obviously better because it's in your line of sight, but this one is obviously bigger. So now it's time to do the acceleration test. Hopefully I'm going to launch this car nice and smoothly, because that's a bit of a problem here to get this car off the line, because the ESP system is definitely very intrusive here. By the way, there's a light placement here on the top, but this panel is quite a bit flimsy, which is not surprising to me. Anyways, revving the motor and off we go. Intentionally, I didn't want to do wheel spins because I want to time this car and make it go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour as fast as possible. Need to hit it in this gear itself. Come on. 12.89 seconds. So that is very much as per Tata's claim. I'm quite impressed that we are able to get the same time as what Tata claims. Good job, Faisal. Good job. Fantastic. Let's do the wiper test. Okay, there is a lot of spray on offer here. I like the wipers. The design is also quite nice. And around the corners, the roll is quite well contained. This is genuinely a very fun car to drive. But I need that button to turn off traction control so I can wheel spin to glory. Because, okay, check this out, okay? We are going to come into first gear. And as soon as I accelerate super duper hard, the chassis will shiver. Then it bogs down. And there it goes. Yes. So, in second gear, it hits 79 kilometers per hour. In third, it gets past 100 kilometers per hour. So full pedal to the metal driving. It does 122, 123 kilometers per hour, 124. What are you doing, car? 124 kilometers per hour in third gear. That's how tall the gearing is. Really crazy tall gearing in this car. But it's not the fastest. 12.8 seconds is not really fast. But then this car's engine doesn't have a lot of top end, so it's good in the lower end of the rev range. Let's enter from here. Look at this. Bad roads, you can't feel it, because that's how good the ride quality of this car is. The ride is actually very impressive here. Into first gear and off we go. This camera keeps turning off all the time. It does 43 kilometers per hour in first gear, which is not bad. I am telling you, the gearing is super tall. Into third, and now we are going to do the brake test at 100 kilometers per hour. We reach 100 and brakes are good actually, but there's that screeching and this sound obviously because of the ABS pulsating. Let's quickly change the drive mode. Let's come into the eco drive mode. I can feel performance has dulled, and how it's dulled quite a lot. So I can feel that doesn't have that level of grunt which I was expecting the car to have for the kind of performance numbers it has. And then because somehow it doesn't like handbrake turns, so see, it did turn but not as impressively as I wished it could. And let's come into reverse. Oh, it goes quite fast in reverse, going above 40 kilometers per hour. So that's fast, that's nice, and that's impressive as well. And now we're going to do the acceleration test. I'm just taking some runoff
Economy
area.
drive mode activated.
This lady has finally woken up. Okay, let's see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. I doubt I'll be able to reach 100 also, and off we go. No, the launch wasn't that impressive. I need to build the revs and then only dump the clutch, which we shall do right now. Oh, I have so much runoff area. That's kind of awesome. Okay, into first gear, come on. Revving the motor and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin. Wheel spin on upshift. Into third. Come on. Bogs down very fast. As soon as it detects there's something around, traction control will just intervene. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 13.1 seconds. So it's not much slower. I think I will be able to manage the same time as I did with, say, the city drive mode. There's no sport drive mode. Tata Motors knows there's no sporty performance in this car. But this is a great car to drive because of the good dynamic balance. And beyond the dynamic balance, this car also has a good amount of grip, good body control. So all this factored in together makes this Altroz actually quite nice to drive. And you will also feel happy that in spite of being a small car, it has good performance. You will not complain about it. Around the corners, yes, understeer kicks in. Front end will definitely wash out front wheel drive car na. So that's something you would expect to happen. But for the most part, I have little to complain about the dynamics of this car because I think it's quite nice. Only thing is they need to give it a better petrol engine because the performance from the petrol engine isn't nice. So let's do one thing. Let's jump into the petrol, which happens to be a bit of a lackluster engine here because this is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder petrol engine. Which makes 88 horsepower and 150 Newton meters of torque. It's not punchy at all, and I have not even reached CNG mode. That is so much fun. Yeah, I have not even reached CNG mode yet. Okay, it understeers a lot, and how? Somehow this understeers slightly lesser when compared to the diesel, but yeah, performance isn't that great, and that is on petrol mode. On CNG, though, don't even ask me, because with the CNG, you obviously get a CNG button here. That is to activate CNG. Here you have the mode ratio, how much petrol and CNG you have used, and right below me there's a fire extinguisher as well. In fact, where you fill fuel, regular petrol, there's also the CNG, so it's very nicely done here. Let's launch it. Yeah, bogs down. I can feel the lack of performance in CNG because with CNG it produces just 73.5 horsepower and 103 Newton meters of torque. So already less performance becomes even lesser here because of CNG, and the engine is quite vocal, although refinement levels are decent, but the engine is not smooth here at all. And around the corners, yeah, the front end washes quite a bit. Now once I shifted from the diesel to the petrol, I realized a few things. Firstly, this USB-C is only for charging. It's not for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connectivity. You have to use the USB-A only, which is kind of stupid. Who roams around with the USB-A anymore? And in reverse, the top speed it does is actually just 25 kilometers per hour when you are on CNG. Let me come into petrol. Let's see if that improves. No, the petrol model actually does just 24. Meanwhile, it actually happens to do a crazy 40 kilometers per hour with the diesel. So a diesel is a diesel. I don't know why the camera turned off. Another thing I noticed is that the lack of ventilated seats is a bit of an issue here, because come on, we need ventilated seats, and this car has got cornering lights as well. The fog lamps work as the cornering lights. I think it's time we test the acceleration of this car when it's on CNG mode, because I think it's going to take a couple of years to reach from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, but never mind, we shall try. Oh, the sound in reverse, the typical sound in reverse. 5-speed manual gearbox option here, and there are 3 gearbox options for the petrol. I don't know why so many gearbox options, why there are 2 automatics, why there's a dual clutch automatic which behaves like an AMT when there's already an AMT which already behaves like an AMT. So anyways, that's that. Into first gear, let's reset this, revving the motor, and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin. Yo, come on, into second. No wheel spin on upshift, and now we should come into third gear. Okay, now come on. You have to reach 100 kilometers per hour. Don't disappoint me. Come on! And there we are, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 18.61 seconds. Honestly, that is equivalent to 3 years in the automotive term. That's a lot of time it's taking to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So CNG definitely dulls performance, but we are not even in CNG. We are in regular drive mode. I wonder how many days or months or years or galaxies or millenniums it's going to take to be able to reach 0 to 100 kilometers per hour when you are in CNG mode. So this engine is slow. It just doesn't have the grunt. The diesel has quite a bit of turbo lag. This one does not have turbo lag only because there is no turbo here, boss, but still it has the lag. I don't know from where. Not a good engine. Tata Motors really needs to focus on making a better engine, because this engine just doesn't have the grunt. They have not given it the turbo. The iRacers 120 horsepower one, that is discontinued now, but hopefully it comes back. They should give that engine in the higher variants, because okay, bumpy, oh, that was fine, because it really deserves better performance. The performance is just not good enough here, period. I am not even being conservative in what I'm saying. What am I even talking? I mean to say that I'm just being very upfront. The performance is just not good enough. Yeah, on path throttle things are fine, but as you push it hard, it just doesn't feel good enough. The gearbox also has a bit of a notchy feel. I don't understand why they can't give us a 6-speed gearbox. They're stuck in 2010 with their 5-speed gearboxes, and the clutch is actually on the lighter side. However, this engine is decently efficient because it's always, I mean, small, so it should not drink too much fuel. However, how many times should I say however? I'm being very honest. I expect a better engine, a better petrol engine from Tata Motors, because the competition is offering better petrol engines. The Baleno is actually cheaper, comes with a 4-cylinder petrol engine. I know it's going to go to that 3-cylinder from the Swift, and then it's going to give more mileage than Tata Motors' diesel Altroz, a petrol car giving more mileage than a diesel. That can only happen if Maruti Suzuki is under consideration. And then there's the i20, which is more expensive, but also gets a 1-liter turbo engine. A turbo is very much needed here because performance is just not exciting enough. It just doesn't, I mean, whatever. Anyways, this car is available in 22 variants. There are 5 colors, there are 4 trims, and this price range starts to be 8.13 lakhs on road Mumbai for the base variant, going all the way to 13.68 lakhs for the top variant. This one is not top, it's the CNG, so obviously it will come at a lesser price, which happens to be rupees 12.76 lakhs. So you end up paying rupees 1.04 lakhs more for the CNG, which is not worth it. Pay slightly more and get the diesel, bro. The diesel is the best engine here because performance is there, efficiency is there, and you don't have to keep switching between CNG and petrol. Obviously, when you're driving in CNG mode, you realize that you actually have a sport mode, which is obviously turning off the CNG immediately. I can feel better performance. Yeah, there is no doubt that the CNG makes the lackluster petrol engine further lackluster. You want to save money, and if you're ready to trade your time by standing in huge lines at the CNG pump, go for the CNG, but I would not recommend. CNG is just not good enough, purely because of the long lines and the lackluster performance. But with CNG, you usually end up becoming an Uber driver, so that's also very cool. That said, I really feel that instead of doing everything under the sun, right, from making the aesthetics better, adding more features and Obviously, this car has great ride and handling balance. Tata Motors is ignoring the only problem this car has, a better petrol engine. Please focus on that. And I don't understand why it's taken them 6 freaking years to give this car an update, because in 6 years now the generation changes. But here Tata Motors is like, no, in 6 years we'll give it a facelift. In 12 years we are giving it a new generation model. So that's a very long life cycle for the Altroz. It's a fantastic car. It really deserves a better petrol engine, because that is the only place where it just doesn't impress. Yeah, the petrol engine is the only issue with this car. Doesn't have the grunt, doesn't have the performance. But trust me on this, the ride and handling balance is super impressive here. This car is begging for a better petrol engine, and that is one thing which Tata Motors needs to solve at the earliest. Because look at this, I'm on full throttle, the car just does not move only. But the CNG system is actually quite advanced, and you can shift on the fly to CNG if you want to take it slow in life. You know, nowadays the whole culture is about taking it easy, not rushing up, reducing stress. So that's something where it absolutely excels. By the way, fingerprint magnet this steering wheel is, but you can press the horn from here also. You don't need to necessarily add fingerprints here. That's something I learned today, and I taught you also the same. Come on! Yeah, I don't know how many days it's going to take to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, but never mind. We shall try and test it right now. Hazard lights on. Let's stop here. Let's launch it. Finally, a good patch of road where we can test the acceleration of the Altroz CNG. And hazard lights off. Revving the motor, and off we go. Wheel spin, bogs down. Come on! Move. Red line's around 6,000 RPM. I think this gear should get us to 100 kilometers per hour. My friends, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in, come on. A little bit of slope assist here. In 3 business days, 22.5 seconds. So around 4 seconds slower, which is obviously expected. Maybe I can do a second faster, but whatever. Anything which goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour above 20 seconds is basically purely made for commercial operations, because commercial vehicles are restricted to 80 kilometers per hour, so nobody would know. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. The Altroz Diesel is still my pick in this segment, in the hatchback segment. It's absolutely fantastic. But if you're looking for a petrol, it's the i20 Turbo, which is the one to opt for now. It's available with a manual in the N line, and I put my money where my mouth is by getting a hatchback. You know which one. Comment below. Bye.